2023-24 season. Maybe on one hand, the club thought, you know what, Martinelli had a great season before that. Maybe this was an off season, he can get back to it. But again, hindsight's 2020, innit? But 2023-24 with left wing. And at the end of the day, we've seen a lot of targets go elsewhere. So yes, I agree. There's not too many guys that can improve us. I don't actually want us to buy players for the sake of it. But at the end of the day, still not nothing. You can try as much as you want for Vinicius and Alvarez and these blockbusters. It's about what you've done. We've tried to win the league in 3 years prior to us winning it. We didn't win it, so there was criticism. We got over the line last year. Unfortunately, in life, it's about the results, really, not necessarily where your heart and your intentions are at. But nonetheless, they'd be interested in recruiting a forward of Julian Alvarez caliber, even if he's primarily a central player. However, sources say Alvarez's desire remains to move to Barcelona. That would need to change for a deal with Arsenal to become more realistic. Alvarez knows that only Arsenal could be a way out for him to leave Atletico. However, he's not tempted to play for any club other than Barcelona. Atletico themselves aren't satisfied with the conditions presented from London so far. And that's another thing, because Arsenal would need to negotiate. How much do they want for Alvarez? How much are we prepared to pay? Might as well just leave it, man. Circle back in January. Arteta apparently is fully aware if Alvarez was to join this summer, he would only be doing so because his preferred destination was not possible. It's understood Arteta is comfortable with that scenario and believes Alvarez would eventually become fully invested. You'd have no choice but to become fully invested. And you'd imagine Barcelona would circle back, will make things happen. Now, obviously, with that being said, I understand the Arsenal fans. You don't want someone coming in, oh my God, the weather isn't sunny anymore and I want to go to Barcelona and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It does come across as a bit disrespectful, but at the end of the day, when you remove your emotions, this is a lot of how football works, people. Alvarez, at least so far, has shown little indication he'd be willing to join Arsenal. However, according to well-placed sources, there's been a slight softening of his stance in recent days, although not enough yet to make anyone at Arsenal excited. Mikel Arteta is fully aware if Alvarez was to join, he'd only be doing so because his preferred destination was not possible. Arteta is comfortable with that scenario and believes Alvarez would eventually become invested and committed to the Arsenal project. Atletico Madrid director Matteo Armani was in London last week, where he's understood to have met with Arsenal counterparts and made clear Atletico would seek a fee of 150 million euros. Now, if he signs for us and he works, it's great. But then you'd have on paper Kai Havertz, Gyökeres, and Alvarez, regardless of who you think scored, who needs to go. You've got three men that can play up front. Yes, if need be, you can do some shifting, but we don't know if Alvarez left wing is a long-term thing. We don't know if Eze is a long-term thing out there. So there's still more questions than answers, in my humble opinion, but I'm just an armchair expert. Since the start of the summer, according to BBC sources, Arsenal have been confident Julian Alvarez to Barcelona was a non-starter. Barcelona remain interested in the player, but have started to consider alternative options, including Victor Gyökeres. Didn't Arteta say Gyökeres ain't going nowhere? Now, you never know in this life. Stranger things have happened, people, but yeah. Julian Alvarez was whistled by Atletico Madrid fans. What happens now with Barcelona and Arsenal interest? Julian Alvarez was whistled and insulted by Atletico Madrid fans as he made his first appearance for the club since expressing his desire to move away amid interest from Barcelona and Arsenal. Alvarez's name was jeered by Atletico supporters at the Metropolitano, I can't say that, when it was read out before their La Liga game against Villarreal. Surely this was expected, and his advisors and Julian Alvarez, you've been around in the game, sensible enough to know this could be a thing. While many gestured and made their feelings clear towards the Argentina striker when he began to warm up around the hour mark, and what I would say is people move on. Alvarez ain't going to be the first or the last players. You know, Liverpool fans still cheer for for Steven Gerrard. Man United fans still hold Wayne Rooney in high regards. We love Vieira. These men used to throw their toys out the pram all the time. Unfortunately, this is football, when players are governed by self-interest, just like with clubs, people. Then when the 26-year-old came on for defender Mark Pabil, who ironically was linked with us as well, in the 67th minute, there are more whistles with Alvarez appearing unhappy. Some supporters chanted, "Tell him to fucking go." Pardon my French, but that's what it says there. He did little to affect the match, and to be fair, Simeone got onto him. They drew 2-2, by the way, people, and yeah, he was booed. You can see him going down the tunnel. Atletico coach Diego Simeone told his post-match press conference that it had been the club's decision for Alvarez not to approach the fans with his teammates. "We all need to be united," said All Black. "Julian is here. He's with us in the team. And while he's with us, we're going to support him and we want him in the best way. Unfortunately, it's a situation that isn't comfortable for anyone, but hopefully all that is sorted. And at the end of the season, we can all be happy." Simeone said, "I'm not here to give advice. What I have to do is concentrate on my work, which is from a sporting sense to give my best for Atletico Madrid. The only thing I know is that if Atletico Madrid want to win a title, We need to be together. We need to have forwards. We need to have important forwards. And for that, we need to work on it. As a result, everyone on what we need. Now, that's interesting. What does he mean they need a forward? That, managers always do the cryptic thing. The context was Alvarez's future Atletico being in doubt. During the World Cup, he told ESPN that a transfer is the best option and he wanted to fulfill his dream. We all know it's probably with Barcelona. To add to the intrigue, the Athletic has reported that Arsenal have long-standing interest in Julian Alvarez. Real Madrid communicated in June that they had seen a 150 million euros offer for Alvarez rejected by their city rivals, although Atletico sources say they did not believe this was a genuine proposal. Against a backdrop that seems incredibly untenable, this is the latest we are hearing on Alvarez's situation, along with Barca and Arsenal's chances of signing him. Our reporter spoke to sources who asked to remain anonymous to protect relationships. What the hell is this? Officially, Atletico Madrid have always maintained Alvarez is not for sale during this transfer window, but club leadership sources say they would consider offers of 150 million euros for Alvarez. When Real Madrid published a statement on June the 9th saying that an offer of that amount had been rejected, figures with knowledge of the situation on both sides said the offer was not serious and that in any case, the club would never sell their player to their fierce rivals. At Atletico, the idea has always been not to sell him to Barcelona or even less so Real Madrid, but things might be different when it comes to Arsenal. A source close to Atletico's leadership told The Athletic that the only way they saw Alvarez leaving this summer would be if Arsenal made a 150 million euro offer that is yet to arrive. Sources view it as unlikely that the Premier League champions would put that money on that kind of forward. They described the situation with Alvarez as farcical and said the transfer window has to end now after those scenes at the Metropolitano. So what do we make of that? Alvarez is still Barcelona's top target. Coach Hansi Flick's preference to bolster their front line this summer. Obviously, Ferran Torres has gone to Paris Saint-Germain. Robert Lewandowski has obviously gone to America, people. So they've known they've needed a forward. And to be honest with you and to be fair, away from Mr. Julian Alvarez, they've been linked with Gyökeres, they've been linked with Krupi, they've been linked with Jesus, they've been linked with Luis Suarez, they've been linked with the same guy we have at Lille, they've been linked with a bunch of different kind of targets. In recent weeks, however, there's been growing pessimism within the club about their chances of signing the Argentinian, given how inflexible Atletico have been. Sources within Barcelona's dressing room say they are aware of Alvarez's aspiration to join them. Those on the board insist they are still keeping an eye on him and that they'd be willing to wait until the very end of the summer transfer window. But at the same time, they need to plan beyond Alvarez. Imagine Rodri and Alvarez, quite the summer. And again, for you lot that told me I was a madman for rating Karim Adeyemi, do you lot see him score for Barcelona at the weekend? Atletico's refusal to entertain talks has led to sporting director Deco to start considering other striking options. Speaking to local outlet TV3 last week, he said Barcelona can be expected to sign a new forward before the transfer deadline. We have solutions in the team, in brackets, for the centre striker role, but we'll probably make a move before the end of the transfer window. They have also been linked with Lautaro Martinez, people. I mean, I only care about Arsenal starts. Despite being fans of Alvarez for some time, Arsenal are not certain how much the player wants to move to England. They're in contact with Alvarez and Atletico's camps last week over a potential deal. Alvarez's interest in joining Barcelona is well known, and as the Athletic reported on Friday, Arsenal would want encouragement from the players' camp before moving forward with any negotiations. So for all the hype, nine ain't going in because there's informal talks. He ain't signaled a willingness to want to sign for us. We don't beyond. I know Berta's worked with Atletico Madrid. Arteta likes him, but beyond that, there's nothing going on. We're not in talks, active talks with Atletico Madrid. To us and what we're seeing there, he's not signaled his intention to want to sign for Arsenal. There's still a lot of hopium, copium, optimism that he could go to Barcelona. Just leave my man alone and keep it moving, man. A left wing signing has been the priority for Arsenal this summer. Saudi Pro League side Al Hilal are pursuing a deal for their forward Gabriel Martinelli, as reported on Sunday. However, Arsenal are prepared to be flexible in their approach. They believe the pool of forwards who can improve them is relatively small. Again, you know what, yeah? It's not that I'm being disingenuous, but you see that sentence I just read? We know it is 6:35 on the 24th of August. If you clip that up, that could apply to the next 4 years. Well, the previous 4 years, apologies. So that's where my patience kind of runs thin with our football club because come on now. So they would be interested in recruiting a forward of Alvarez's caliber, even if the Argentinian is primarily a central striker. Sources with knowledge of the situation, however, say Alvarez's desire remains to move to Barcelona. That would need to change for a deal with Arsenal to become realistic. With the transfer deadline just over a week away on September the 1st, time is running out if Arsenal want to convince him to change his mind. Julian Alvarez, why sign a player who isn't interested in coming? Big up yourself, Trouble. Hit the like, guys. Michael, appreciate you. Soloff is injured, DG, and if Alvarez moves, they'll need a striker, in brackets, Jesus, Victor Gyökeres, Jackson. DG City going for Gakpo, they're finished. I can't lie, that's crazy, you know. That's absolutely crazy. Can't believe he and Barcelona sold him out like that. To be fair, it's not Barcelona's fault. He was prepared. Sometimes you have to burn bridges. And for Barcelona, you know what you're, Alvarez, your experience, you know what you're getting yourself into. I've never been a professional footballer. You look the same, but if I'm at a club, I come out and talk. Fair enough. I don't think he spoke too mad in the World Cup, but you hear the rumors. He said transfer is the best solution for me. I can't be an idiot. I have to expect when I come back, I'm gonna get booed. It happened to Cristiano Ronaldo. Like you had to be, but you can't do the woe is me thing with the Atletico Madrid fans. You get where I'm going, innit? You have to have a bit of common sense in that regards. So I don't know, man. Apparently, Miguel Delaney said Arsenal have been given encouragement that an Alvarez deal may be possible before the end of the window, as the Premier League champions are actively working on the deal. 150 million euros equates to 128.4 million people. But again, there's still a long way to go before any deal is possible. But the London club are attempting to negotiate that price down, while the Kroenkes' ownership are taking the view they did on Vinicius, which is that they are willing to back the right big move. There is natural awareness that Arsenal could get caught in a similar Spanish football politics as they did with the Real Madrid style. Clearly, we're in that, man. Like, and to be honest, we're gonna not try to read the same things. The club have been interested and looking at Kenlan Yildiz. To be fair, apparently he's picked up a knock. Miguel Delaney, with the greatest of respect, we're more just gonna believe the Athletic in it, a bit more credible. Alvarez was blocked from greeting the home fans, so yeah, we've gone over that. Happily see how we're working on it. I think this is a good point, though. It's 2011. The Argentinian Kun Aguero wants to leave Atletico Madrid to join Real Madrid. Atletico block his move and tell him he can only move abroad. He ends up being a Manchester City legend. Asks Man City fans if they feel bad they signed the player who wanted to join another club. Gives food for thought, people. Now, this broke my heart. I want to win the Champions League and lots of titles to make Arsenal fans very happy. They deserve the best, as do the staff. I want to become a Gunners legend. I mean, you're in our history. You helped win a league. We've all watched the All or Nothing. Martinelli does have to go. And again, tough decisions have to be made. You haven't put a foot wrong. I just hope we're keeping it true, and this applies to everyone. This might apply to Gyökeres and Kai Havertz one day. This is, and I'm saying that purely for Mikel Arteta. This defo is going to apply for Noni Madueke. So if we're doing this ruthless thing, keep it true for everybody, innit? Al Hilal pursuing deal for Arsenal's Gabriel Martinelli. Al Hilal are pursuing a deal to sign Arsenal winger Gabriel Martinelli. The Saudi Pro League club are also in talks with the 25 Brazil internationals camp over the proposed move. I mean, go get your money and you'll be back in Europe. You go get some generational wealth. You'll be back in Europe in like 18 months, 2 years. Anyways, Arsenal are seeking a fee in the region of 60 million for Martinelli, which, to be fair, is what, a 54 million pound profit. He's developed through the system. He's won a Premier League. It's great. Obviously, I do think it's a good fee, but whether I rate Martinelli or not, we all see how mad the market is at this moment in time. Yes, he's got a year left. Arsenal do have an option, but I do feel that both could we squeeze a bit more than 60 million and also feel it's a kind of fair fee and put a sell-on clause, because he's 25. By the time he's 27 at the earliest, he's going to be back in Europe somewhere, innit? I say we just put big money for Krupi Jr. He's better than Alvarez anyways. He's not going to us. He wants Barcelona and the price is too high. Rather have Bueno or Lookman than Alvarez. I can't say I agree. I like Bueno and I like Lookman. I'd rather Alvarez of the names you said there. Bring Nico Williams in and call it a day. Are we going to activate his 77 million release clause and probably pay him decent wages, which he'd have to be one of our top earners. He's on something decent at Atletico Bilbao. So Arsenal, big up Zolis, big up all the moves you've done, but I respect sniffing around Bacola, sticking to your guns when even though I think you moved a bit late, sticking to your guns with not paying 117 million for Morgan Rogers, throwing your hat into the ring for Vinicius Jr. But at the end of the day, I can applaud you for that, but you tried, you didn't necessarily do it. We were told 2 wingers. Anything happens to Zolis, Arteta, Berta, Kroenkes, you lot know more than me. You lot work towards winning this league. I'm just a fan. Make it all work out, innit? So yeah, we're seeking 60 million for Martinelli, and while no agreement has been reached, talks are ongoing and the player is open to the possibility. And the only time I've really thought you're leaving is, as I said in the video I posted earlier today, when he was in the Community Shield. Like the last 2 times, Nwaneri's been on the bench, and Nwaneri's future is subject to speculation, at least on a temporary basis. That might tell you that there's actually legs to this move for Martinelli. Something's changed and whatnot. Maybe if we're really trying for Alvarez or someone else, certain dominoes needs to fall and we need to get this 60 odd million to all make it make sense. So, but I might be telling Arteta, do your part and make it clear to Martinelli that your days are kind of numbered in that regards. Again, these are just speculations, people. So yeah, I mean, he did have an offer from Galatasaray. And if it was just sporting wise, I'd rather go to Turkey because I do think the Turkish league's better than Saudi. But we all know that didn't work out. He hasn't been in the last match day squads, people. Martinelli, would join, obviously, Somerville, ironically. West Ham got more money, man. Arsenal are open to trading the Brazil international if an attractive offer arrives, but he's not pushing to leave, which is great. 1 minute he's not pushing to leave. I don't think he's pushing to leave. I think he's probably come around that I've had a conversation with the gaffer. It's one thing not being a star. It's another thing not being in the match day squad. I have to keep it moving. Like, this is a difficult decision. I've been here from 18. I'm now 25. I'm married and all these things. All right. I have to be a man and keep it moving then, innit, really and truly. I'm going to miss my boy, man. I'm going to miss my boy, but you do need to move. It's weird because I want you to move and then I don't want you to move. So, yeah, it's mad. Ian Wright's been getting in a lot of stick, really, and it pisses me off, man, because Ian Wright's a man with his own thoughts. It's like, unless he's being a cheerleader and making out everything's rosy and having the general consensus on everything and being diplomatic, people start accusing Donny of everything, innit? The way Martinelli is being treated at the moment, it makes me feel uncomfortable. True. I know they might want him out, and a lot of people might say, yeah, it's time for him to move on, but there's ways of doing it, and it should suit him as well now how he wants to leave, which is also true. It was also true, especially a club that likes this. And again, this is me being neutral. I'm not criticizing the club. We like to talk about doing things with a touch of class. And for devil's advocate purposes, I don't actually care that Martinelli's not in the squad because it is what it is. As a person, I like Martinelli, of course, but we've been saying for years he needs to move on. But Martinelli ain't a mercenary. He's trained well. He's done all these things. And you can still end up like this, which goes back to what I said at the start. Football clubs do not care. There's no such thing as loyalty. Now, typically the players get the stick because we all support clubs. We're tribal. But you see when these clubs, all clubs, see when they're ready to whatever, it don't matter what you did. They're on you. You're gone. This is why I'll always advocate players do what you want to do. It's even like with Julian Alvarez, do what you want to do. Literally do what you want to do. But just be able to firm what comes with it. This article has said, Gabriel Martinelli is unhappy with the way Arsenal have treated him and has been left particularly disappointed by his sudden exclusion from Mikel Arteta's plans. That's according to ESPN Brazil, who brings some interesting details on Monday about what's going on behind the scenes. Martinelli is now negotiating a possible move to Al Hilal. That part of the story is already well established, with the Saudi club in contact with Arsenal and the Brazilian open to the move. What's more interesting here is how Arsenal suddenly looks more attractive to him. What does that mean? ESPN say Martinelli didn't like the way he's been pushed out internally at Arsenal. The 25-year-old feels he's been pushed to the side by Arteta, which is probably true, but in life, this does happen. You could do nothing wrong in your job and, yeah, redundancies. These things happen. The clubs don't care about it. Loyalty is a myth. It's absolutely a myth. It's a myth. Like, if it was, if it was an alternative universe where Martinelli had all that potential and he actually realized it, if he ever wanted to go Barcelona, Real Madrid, he owes Arsenal nothing. Because, again, I could be a one-club man, give my whole life to a football club, turn down Real Madrid, Barcelona, this one, that one. Let's not even say Arsenal. Let's just say I'm at Everton. Like, I'm at Everton. We've got Premier League. We're not really winning stuff. I've rejected this one, that one. I've come through the academy. All these things have happened. I've been in the first team from 16. I now got to 31. I've had an injury. I've recovered from that injury. I'm screaming. I would like a 2 to 3 year deal. They're saying it's a 12 deal or not 12 months deal or nothing. I'm just going to get a testimonial and the fans aren't going to care. They're going to move on. Like, do what you want, man. As long as you can hold it, it is what it is. And that's said to have left him disappointing. And to be fair, I still think you get in the Brazil squad, even playing in Saudi, to be fair. There has been little attempt to hide his new status either. Martinelli wasn't included in the squad for the first 2 matches of the season. Things apparently went a step further after the City match. Despite being part of Arsenal's squad going into the new season, Martinelli didn't even receive a medal for the Community Shield triumph. Okay, any details that actually make sense? ESPN say the situation caused some discomfort among Arsenal players as well. Naturally, it's got to. He's been part of the furniture. He's their boy and whatnot. That's quite a way for Martinelli's 7 years at the club to potentially come towards an end, which is horrible. And I think, like, don't you ever feel like you in life, yeah, you played out for the last time? Don't you ever feel in life you did a lot of things for the last time, and in that moment you didn't? That's how probably Martinelli feels. And again, 7 years, you're treated like this. I'm not even saying the club's wrong, because if they want Donny to go, big wages, we can get 60 million. We've got things to do. The only thing I'll be pissed off about is not Martinelli or how Arsenal are actually handling him. It's Martinelli leaves, nothing else rises. Who that player is, where that player is, I don't know. It's above my pay grade. But that's where I'll get pissed off, because we got less bodies. But yeah, people. He arrived from Etano in 2019 as a teenager and has spent essentially his entire senior European career with the Gunners. Now he appears to have been very clearly shown that his future should lie elsewhere. That background also helps explain Martinelli's change of heart over Saudi Arabia. Earlier in the summer, information from Brazil stated the forward wasn't interested in alternative markets. He rejected Gala and was also said to have closed the door on Saudi Arabia. We all know he's been rejected there. El Hilal's financial proposal and quality of life on offer have worked in their favor. Martinelli's family and his reps are studying the possibility and aren't against the move. There's said to be considerable optimism on the player side that a transfer can be completed. No agreement has been reached between Arsenal and Al Hilal yet, and Martinelli hasn't agreed personal terms either. ESPN puts Arsenal's asking price at 40 to 45 million euros, so that's 35 to 39 million. Now, that's a bit lower than what we saw. I'm not really on that, if I'm completely honest. Like, come on, man, get a decent fee. Now, big up AFC Camden, but this is the realm we're going to get ourselves into. Got a feeling Madueke is going to have a big season for us. 100%. I hope so, at least. 12 GA last season from 32 starts. Yeah, but where did these goals come? When did they come? Let's break it down. Like, you can manipulate that. Has all the tools, just needs to hook up his approach, play with better final action / decisions, our most direct winger, and has the ability to get up the pitch fast. He does have that. He does have that. I do like his attitude. I do like his mentality. I do like his self-belief. But you're what, 6 months or a year, 6 months to a year younger than Bukayo Saka? Like, I'm not asking you to be Bukayo Saka. You're not a kid. If the penny doesn't drop now, it's never going to drop. And I hope it works out, because I like Noni. I didn't like the petitions. But at the end of the day, the same ruthlessness needs to be afforded to everybody. And then I do agree with this. Can we stop this tall talk? He's a squad player who's 25. He's never going to pull it all together. Never say never. I don't necessarily wholeheartedly agree with that, but yeah, let it go. Accept him for who he is, not what you want him to be. I agree with that, because I feel there's a lot of players that fall into that remit at Arsenal, whether I rate them or not. I'm never going to ask Noni to be something he can't be. Gyökeres to be something he can't be. Kai Havertz to be something he can't be. When Trossard was here, something you can't be. You get where I'm going? My phone is dinging off, man. Silence these things. Show you, folks. Silence that, man. Just ring, 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 ring. Pissing me off, man. Stopping me flowing. Smash the like button, people. Smash the like button. So yeah, I do agree with that. Apparently, ESPN have also said Martinelli is saddened by the way things are unfolding. I mean, it's like any other job. If I'm completely honest, yeah, all these things, and he's 18, he's probably grown up with the kitchen staff. Football is the same job. They don't care about these jobs. Do not care about it. This is why obviously you have to get employment. We got bills to pay in that. But don't die for these companies, bro. Like, this is like any other job. Think about all you sacrificed, and you're gonna get dashed away like this. Martinelli is saddened by the way things are unfolding. He has been sidelined and excluded without the club speaking to him clearly. I disagree with that. I'd imagine there's some level of conversation, probably with Berta and Martinelli's counterparts. I also believe, to a degree, Arteta might not have told him the full truth, but there has to have been a level of conversation with Arteta and Martinelli. I do believe Arteta is kind of straightforward in that regard. So I disagree with that. And he did not expect this treatment from Arsenal after joining the club as almost a child and giving so much on and off the field. He also says the way he was excluded from the Man City match has apparently caused discomfort among some of the team's players. Arsenal fans are also upset about the manner of his departure and hope for a chance to bid farewell on the pitch. As for El Hilal, the interest is real. There is a very high likelihood of completing the transfer. Martinelli, his family, and his team are still studying all options. They're not closing the door to a move to Saudi. Fair. Kenan Yildiz, people. Kenan Yildiz has a fracture in his left foot and will have to undergo surgery. Taking his recovery into account, he risks being sidelined for around 3 months. He looks set to miss X amount of matches. So, yeah, we know we're not getting Kenan Yildiz, but I admire going for him. I admire the Vinicius thing. I admire trying to get Rodgers and walking away if you don't feel he's worth it and all of these things. But at the end of the day, big up you lot for that. Big up the work you've done. Do I feel we've done everything? No, I don't. So it is what it is. Regardless, you need to win the Premier League. I do think we'll get to the latter stages of the Champions League. In terms of just incomings, I don't have a boost to think, you know what? We can get that one day over the line. So, yeah. So yeah, it is what it is. To be fair, 12 million euros a year is quite decent. So yeah, Romano has said the same thing. People, everybody's echoing the same thing. Yesterday, Arsenal have placed Mateus Fernandez-Pardo, 21, on their attacker shortlist and are monitoring the situation closely. Arsenal are aware they will need to offer his 70 million euros asking price to have any hope of swaying Leo to sell before the transfer window closes. Also, you got to remember, it's one thing buying, but these clubs have to find replacements. So you're gonna have to probably pay a premium. I mean, never say never in life here, but they're still running the Miles Lewis Kelly to Man United stuff. Arsenal are still prepared to sell Miles Lewis Kelly if a club meets their steep valuation. Man United want a left back, but consider the 50 million asking price too high. And to be fair, if it came down, because I do believe I don't think they wanted to sell Lewis Kelly, but I do think the club must have given consideration. I don't think we need to sell because of money. It's just how we operate. The same with Wanyeri and indirectly Martinelli on top of everything we've discussed. But if it came down to Wanyeri, Miles Lewis Kelly, and Martinelli, and we're saying, you know what, Lewis Kelly's got a place here. Wanyeri, you're going on loan, and Martinelli has to be the false one out, I would have picked that as well. Bacola's allegedly moving closer to Liverpool, but this is said Bacola is still Liverpool's main target as a winger. Liverpool are set to submit a bid to PSG this week to try and sign him. Arsenal and the Saudi club have also shown interest, but the Reds are leading the race. Agreement in principle for a contract until 2032. Afternoon, Terry. One love, man. And that's why it was out of order when they didn't like Sanchez leaving. Madueke's football IQ is too low. I've seen enough. If we can get decent money for Martinelli, there's no excuses. He has to be replaced with someone better. Who is it that called it? I'm not sure, man. People are saying 50 million isn't enough. He has 1 year on his contract. Very good deal. Let's get rid. I look at it two ways. 50, 60 million is good money. It's good profit. It's, you know, he's more than repaid his £6 million asking price. Obviously, you get his wages. And I know he's got a year left on his deal, but let's be real. We're not good sellers. And if there was, I do believe if Martinelli was somewhere else in the Prem, there are better hustlers, they'd probably get a bit more money than him. Whether I rate Martinelli or not, everybody's ripping everybody off in this transfer market, especially when man are going Saudi. So, yeah, I think we could have got more. I think it is a good fee. We do have an option to extend this deal. You have seen us exercise a 1 year option to retain resale value for shitter players. So I don't know why we couldn't do that. What I would say is, El Hilal, let's keep this link going. Like, you don't want Fabio Vieira, you don't want Reece Nelson, you don't want Gabriel Jesus. Let's start flocking people to Saudi, innit? That's the silver lining for me, man. Ekrem Congo has said, with Liverpool and PSG still far apart on Bacola's valuation, Arsenal are keeping close tabs and are preparing a potential hijack. PSG want 130 plus 15 million in add-ons, while Liverpool value him at 120 maximum. I think, well, to be fair, I do think Bacola goes Liverpool. I do think Alvarez will get his Barca move, and it's that last week. Anyone having Ndiaye of Everton? Arsenal apparently have identified Everton winger Ndiaye as an option to reinforce the left side of their attack. The 26-year-old turned down El Hilal and would prefer to remain in the Premier League if he leaves Everton. Signing Ndiaye could clear the way for Martinelli to depart Arsenal. What do we make of that? Atletico Madrid prefers to sell Alvarez to Arsenal. At this point, I don't want to hear nothing about Alvarez no more, bro. Like, I'll be real, I don't want to hear nothing. Like, it's boring. Blackburn Rovers player Igor Tejan, I don't know why it says Thiago, will appear before the transfers arbitration board on Tuesday prior to his move to Arsenal. So that means Arsenal and Blackburn haven't been able to agree a fee because, you know, we're going to get him. So it's going to a tribunal where they'll decide, okay, he's been at Blackburn from how long, you've developed him how much, they'll put a price tag. That was obviously Mongo went to City, but that's where it looked like it was going for us people. So yeah, good signing with resale value for our 21s. Liverpool are going to do the same thing. Liverpool believe it will need a tribunal to determine the value of the deal for the transfer of young striker Vincent Joseph to Arsenal. So yeah, it seems like that's not going to happen. Allegedly, Gyökeres is not happy at Arsenal. His agents are in contact with clubs and have explored the possibility of a transfer to Barca. You know what? You'd probably be their plan B. You would have had a great year at Arsenal, you know, 14 league goals, wearing the number 14, 21 goals, all comps, helped deliver us our 14th league title. You're out of there, you're at Barcelona, in which for Barcelona, we've got La Masia and they've been blessed with them players. If you just ask Gyökeres to put the ball in the back of the net, you'll be all right there, people. That would be a good little pattern for you, but I don't really believe that. At this point, we're going to keep regurgitating the same things. Nelson is expected to be sold in the coming days. West Ham has expressed interest in the winner. Gabriel Jesus is available for sale. Jesus was linked with a move to Napoli, but to this day, no concrete progress has been made regarding his departure. It's believed that Jesus earns around £250,000 sterling per week with Arsenal, which may complicate his transfer process. Fabio Vieira could move to Hamburg permanently if the two clubs reach an agreement. We've been hearing that all summer, innit? Ethan Wanyeri is expected to leave on loan. It has not yet been clarified whether he'll join another team in the English league or move to a European club abroad. My hope is that, pathway will eventually open up there for him, people. Arsenal, this is all Sam Dean, by the way. Arsenal is unlikely to sign any other attacking player in the final days of the transfer window. Arsenal will not sign an expensive striker just for the sake of signing. The player must be the right one and at the